All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going into game number 2 between these two Terran giants. The map looks like it's going to be Tal'Darim Altar by the looks of things, and spawning over here in the top left location, ladies and gentlemen, as the yellow Terran, falling to a really good engagement there from Lau, I'd feel, on the low ground there, just out of range of that bunker in game number 1. Will he be able to take game number 2, ladies and gentlemen? A very strong player indeed. It's going to be Funkay. And his opponent, of course, taking game number 1. A very, very nice engagement at the end there, just completely crushing through his opponent. A little bit of sort of strategic mistake going on there from Funkay, but will he be able to take game number 2 and finish the clean sweep 2-0? We'll have to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, from Team Infused, it is Lau.
Yeah, Lau, of course, known for his very aggressive playstyle. You know, going with that heavy Banshee composition, that's not something you don't expect from him. It fits his playstyle, and when you see Funkay basically move out at a time like that, where basically he knows that all I have to do is sit back and just abuse my early command center and take advantage of that. Moving out like that,
it was surprising.
Debatable, you know, at best.
Considering he didn't have control of the watchtowers, I mean, if he did and he saw the army wasn't around, okay, Lau could still have been camped out at the third base or something like that, but at least he knows the front of his base is safe. He moved out in full view of Lau, and that just allowed Lau to go, oh, hang on a second, I can pretty much abuse this timing here, and that's exactly what he did. 3 Banshees and Hellions in that composition as well. Even with combat shields, those Marines stood no chance. So just excellent snap decision there from Lau to engage that army and win the game.
It's you know, StarCraft is a game of ruling out options. You know, if you see that your opponent is going with that heavy Banshee composition, you can assume that either he's going for an expansion behind it, or he's going for a lot of Hellions behind it, because he's going to be spending his minerals somewhere. So, you know, one of the 2 options that you do have is going to completely counter you, is going to crush you if you move out.
Yeah.
By all means, do a scan or something at the natural first.
Yeah, you should make sure your opponent isn't on one base.
Waste the energy on the command center and on the orbital just to get that information. Then it's cheaper than losing potentially your whole army in half the cases. Well,
this game is going to be very interesting. Funkay leaving 2 workers on gas at the moment, presumably quite deliberately, and we do actually have a tech lab going down on this barrack, so we might see a little bit of Reaper play come out of him, and indeed that's what's going to be popping out. So Reaper Expand build going to be popping out from Funkay. Meanwhile, over in Lau's side of the world, we see no gas and a single barracks without any add-on. So the command center
expand here, actually.
Exactly. So Reaper Expand versus 1-Rax Expand. A lot of this is going to come down to micro and whether Funkay can do a decent amount of damage with this Reaper.
Yep, Lau around for scouting it, knows that Reaper is coming, should be able to hold off. Of course, you got to keep in mind that of the first tier units, you know, the Zealot, the Zergling, and the Marine, the only one with any range is the Marine. So it's very tough for a Reaper to really punish you know, the opponent in the TVT.
It is indeed, and I think Lau just needs to make sure he has Marines around about the cliffs, going to just check around behind the minerals of this natural expansion. Look at that beautiful positioning on the Marine. And he's going to be able to try and take out this Reaper before he even gets to the cliff. And look at this, Funkay moving right past where Lau sees it. And there we go, first Marine now taking a lot of damage off of that Reaper, and already 20 out of 50 hit points. I mean, this Reaper's not going to do anything, man. Excellent play.
Exactly. The difference between the range of a Reaper and a Marine is only 0.5. So really, it's not something you can micro against the Marines. And if they're positioned like this, you know, we saw Lau did scout it and knew it was coming. There's very little you can do with it.
Yeah, Funkay going to be going into a more biocentric build. So similar to last game, he wanted to get up to a decent number of racks very quickly. He does, of course, have the expansion this time around. Barracks 2 and 3 are going to be going down in combat shield before Stim going to be researched here. So I think that tells me that he's not looking to go really super fast medevacs. He wants to make sure his bio ball is quite strong before getting those medevacs a little bit later in the game.
It wouldn't surprise me if he just opens up this bio composition and then switches into tank keeping, because he's still keeping his transition options open.
Like what Goody does when he goes 3 racks and then into 3 factory.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing I was thinking about. On the other hand, you could also go for heavy Marauder composition. I don't know, but we do sometimes see double reactor, so we know that's not going to be it. At least that's ruled out.
Well, double reactors, indeed, he's going to want to get quite a lot of Marines out there. We do see both sides with their engineering bays up, but Funkay going to be getting that a +1 in before Lau. So there we go, Lau going to be starting his as well. More or less equal timing, and Lau also going to be going for the combat shield before Stim. So it looks like both of our players actually going for more or less transitioning into the exact same build over here.
Yep, and the tech is going to be a little bit ahead for Lau, of course. For Funky, not for Lau, because the investment into that earlier gas to get that Reaper actually pays off in the end as well. We are now going to see Funky with some map control in the middle, taking position and forcing Lau back. So it's going to be Funky here with the map since early on.
Funky's also taken a third gas, and Lau hasn't taken one at his natural yet. So we could see Funky try and tech up a little bit sooner on that front as well. Going to be able to go into the mid game with that upgrade advantage. He has now started Stim. Whereas Combat Shield's only just finishing up for Lau now, and he's actually getting a reactor on the factory, going to be transitioning into a starport. So he'll be getting medevacs faster than Lau would as well.
Just exactly what you get that third gas for. As soon as that third gas goes down, you know that someone is preparing to get that medevac, those medevacs out.
Yep. So it looks like Lau is going to have a small advantage in Marines because he was producing more because of the Reaper opening coming out of Funkay, but Funkay going to be able to get that tech down a little bit sooner. His upgrade, and actually, nice move there, moving away from the watchtower, knowing that Lau will be able to win that engagement as it currently stands, but a lot more reinforcements coming out here from Funkay, and once these groups meet up, he should be okay.
Important to note, of course, the second engineering base also going down for Funky now, and he's going to have the armory out as well, so he's going to have the tech advantage definitely from here on out. And that actually pays out hugely until tax come into play.
Yep, the first couple of medevacs are now going to be en route for Funkay. Ooh, supply blocking himself a little bit there. That's not going to help him one bit, but a couple of supply depots are about to finish up, so it'll only be for between 5 and 10 seconds.
He can afford to supply block himself there because he needs to start his upgrades.
Yep.
He needs to start that +2 attack, and the +1 army just started, so you know that you can afford to food cap yourself for a moment. Because basically you're going to be spending anyway.
Now I actually think Funkay may or may not have a little bit of a timing here because Lau has just started siege mode. Funkay is going to have a temporary upgrade advantage and he might be able to get those medevacs out in time. He might try and poke around at the front, but the thing is, Lau has a pretty good defense here with the bunker as well, and the number of Marines he's currently producing is bordering on astronomical, Martin, so I think he should be able to hold this fine. And once tanks come out, it's going to be a different ball game, even though Funkay has the upgrade advantage, it's not going to be able to do quite as much against these fortified positions.
Yeah, and of course, important to note is that, yes, there's siege mode coming out early for Lau, but it's very hard to capitalize on that if you don't have any kind of air cover. Of course, the Marines consider that medevacs, so it's not like you can freely drop on the tanks, but still, it's very hard to deal with these kind of drops early on. If you do have a tank or two set up at the front, it just won't cut it.
Yep. So, and that splash damage, of course, doing so much damage against Marines. And there we go. A couple of Marines going to get caught out in the middle of the map there from Lau. Picking off a Marine from Funkay, which is nice, but not quite able to deal with the rest of the army. And he sees...
never efficient, because your opponent, Funkay right now has medevacs out, so any kind of stim you do is going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt him.
Yep, Lau only getting his first 2 medevacs out now, and we saw that the 2 with Funkay's army were already more or less across the map, so he knows that he didn't get medevacs out before his opponent. But we have got the 3rd base now coming out from Funkay as well. Going to try and get ahead in the mid to late game with additional income, and I really like that decision a lot from him because he has map control at the moment. You can see he's taken that watchtower in between the 2 bases, although Lau doing a good job of holding the one on the left, actually. That could come in useful. And Funkay just trying to exert a little bit more pressure.
We do see a few Marines actually moving forward for Lau, so just so he scouts that 3rd and doesn't know it's down. He's trying to get a 3rd of his own as well. Hasn't cleared out the rocks quite yet. Funkay has a Marine there in position as well to deal with this. Meanwhile, both players now have tanks out, both players have siege out as well, but it's going to be +1 starting a little bit earlier for Funkay. So once again, with that Mac transition now, we have once again an upgrade advantage still for Funkay.
Yeah, just really well played out of the opening here, just very diligently tending to his upgrades. And if I had to describe this game sort of in a nutshell, I would say Funkay's getting everything just a little bit sooner than Lau, and just trying to stay one step of him. Lau, though, going to be moving out towards the middle of the map now, and this could be huge if he catches the army unsiege. One of the tanks is going to siege up for Lau, but the other 2 a little bit later. Nice concave here for Funkay. Will he be able to do anything about it, though?
Yes,
those tanks doing so much damage, and it looks like Funkay is going to be able to break through. That tank in the back doing a decent amount of splash damage, and Lau is going to have to fall back. Supplies currently standing at 103 for Funkay to 80 for Lau.
Really good engagement there, and he's going to be able to pick off another medevac there for free, capitalizing on his win in the battle. And yes, this is exactly what Funkay needs to do. Be aggressive from this position. You just cleaned up your opponent's army, try to do a drop or something, try to do some damage here. You're already keeping him on 2 base. Basically, there's no way Lau can now afford to expand here without putting himself at considerable risk. Of course, he has that command center. He's going to have to land it at some point. But it's going to be very risky to do that now. He is trying to clean out those rocks now, but this is going to be very tough to deal with. Meanwhile, the drop now going down at the natural, doing a lot of damage here on the SCVs.
That is an excellent drop, and Lau, his army completely out of position there. A decent number of SCVs killed, currently standing at 7, and the medevac even able to get out. So Funkay just doing what he needs to do, keeping Lau on his toes, and also keeping that army at home so that Lau can't exert any pressure against the third base. If we take a quick look at the income tab, Funkay is mining so much more than Lau as it currently stands. He is on 64 harvesters to 50. And just really, really good engagements from him there. And Lau going to be taking the back rocks out to get his own third down. But +3 is already halfway done for Funkay. He has been so diligent with his upgrades this game. I'm very impressed with his play.
Yep, Funkay is showing us textbook TVT, really. It's a pleasure to watch him play up to this level. You're going to see the sensor tower going down for him as well. Very smart play. You're in a great position. You can afford to have a sensor tower there. One of the few things you have to be careful of is that there's some kind of crazy drop going down that you don't have enough time to respond to.
Yeah.
Or Banshee's coming in or something. So by all means, get that sensor tower and make it work for you.
Exactly. A couple of turrets, if necessary, to prevent drops. And actually, we see Funkay already with a turret ring around his main base. Look at how beautifully these turrets are placed. He is basically making himself unharassable right now. And Lau's going to have no choice but to try and win in a straight-up engagement here. But Funkay comfortably is the middle of the map. Nice scan there.
I don't like Funkay going out here unsieged, though.
Oh, I know. And Lau is actually sieged up behind this. Oh, Funkay does get a decent concave, though. And I think the concave could prove to be a big factor here. 4 tags for him versus only 1 actually in range of those Marines from Lau. And Funkay once again going to be able to get a decent chunk of Lau's army downsized there, and now he's going to be able to go towards the third as well, trying to catch Lau out of position. That's an excellent play. I don't think Lau can do much to do about this because the siege tanks, there we go. In fact, he's lifting the orbital command and running away.
This is a much better engagement to go for. Yeah, this is what Funkay, well, I guess this is what he does go for after all. Can you get a snipe here on the command center? Is it going to go down? Ooh, well, the tank's now in position for Lau as well to defend.
But Funkay doing what he needs to do, preventing his opponent from getting that third base. He's continuously mining from his own third and even putting up a fourth right now. Currently he had 169 to 138 supply, and Funkay is just very slowly squeezing the life out of him.
And now drop being prepared here at the natural as well. Funkay is attacking from all sides. Might actually go into the main with this. I like him, I would like him to go into the main even more. Going in the main is a huge damage potential just because you're forcing Lau to back away and defend, otherwise he's going to lose a lot of production.
Look at Lau, he has the units in place, he sees the drop coming, and oh no, the missile turrets and the Marines combined get 1 medevac, the second one able to get out of there unharmed, but Lau very much on top of this drop here.
And you know why? Because there's a single Marine still holding the Zelnaga tower.
It's all about the Zelnaga towers, man. Teldarim Multi, you can see so much with vision from those towers. We do have Funkay, of course, with vision of 3 of them, but Lau, crucially, grabbing that one, able to give him vision of that drop, and now we have another engagement going on at the third. It looks like Funkay wants to move in a little bit, repositioning his Marines, but thinking better of it at the last second. Of course, those tanks are able to get shots off on the orbital command, and it's going to be down to Lau to try and force engagement here. Here we go, unsieging, and deciding to push the entire army into it. He might be able to win this engagement. There's C-Tank doing so much damage against the Marines of Lau, though. It looks like the army from Funkay will go down here. A decent enough engagement for Lau. He's going to be able to mine at his third base peacefully, which is crucial.
That was a good trade for him, but in the position he's in, it's not going to be enough.
No, I'm afraid not, because Funkay now going to be sieging up at the natural as well, taking advantage of the fact that Lau and his siege tanks out of position, and the splash damage from these tanks doing so much damage. It looks like Lau going to barely be able to pull through, but look at the number of bases Funkay has, even taking that base at the bottom right there. He's going to be on 5 base versus 3, so Lau going to be pushing out towards the middle of the map just a bit here.
Why?
But he's going to have to push out. Oh, he does have a decent tank advantage as it currently stands, because Funkay did give up a lot of tanks for that aggression, but he now needs to sit back and reproduce his tanks on his superior economy.
There's still a 20-foot lead, though, for Funkay. He's got 3 tanks in production alone. Moving out right now, Lau is basically just putting himself at risk of getting overwhelmed at any given point.
Oh, and I like this decision. Funkay seeing that, hang on a second, you're pushing out with so many tanks, I'm going to go ahead and drop you. So he...
3 tanks are being given away by a bad rally from Funkay. That's what he exactly does not need to do.
Oh, dear. But, Lau going to try and get a sweet spot into the natural as well. The tank's going to be sieging up on the low ground there. Simultaneously, though, Funkay knows that all the tanks from Lau's army are here, and therefore 2 medevacs going to be going towards a third base, and he might even kill off this orbital command. It hasn't yet been repaired. He's actually abandoning his natural and going to be coming down the ramp towards his 4th base location. So he's going to try and defend from here. Oh no, another tank almost getting picked off here, but Lau deciding to pull back at the last moment. And here we go, the drop going on against a third of Lau, and it looks like the Orbital Command going to very promptly go down indeed. And some of these SCVs going to get picked off, but not too many there, as the hairdryer does deposit itself near the minerals. And Lau going to be continuing this offensive into the natural, but Funkay just on more bases. And now, oh, even 2 Vikings coming out to pick off the Medivacs. That is beautiful, because the Marines don't really want to stim themselves forward in case they go into the tank fight. But oh dear, never mind, a little bit of miss micro, unfortunately, coming out of there means that all but one of the Vikings, in fact the last Viking's on 8 health and actually gets picked off by Lau there. So a decent micro coming out of there from Lau, but Funkay able to hold him off at the end of the day, and now it's basically 4 base versus 2 base.
Yeah, good cleanup there by Funky there. I gotta say, it could have been a little bit more cleanly, but still, now picking up 3 medevacs as well, very nice. I think Funky is still in a dominating position here.
Yeah, I like the decision to bring out those Vikings as well, because those 2 Vikings actually came out with...
Look what Lau's doing though. Lau is saying, yeah, I know I'm in a bad position, I'm just going to pull my SCVs, it's going to give it one less shove. And the food difference isn't that high, so this still has a chance of working. And
the SCVs have +3 infantry armor, so which is interesting because they'll be able to withstand maybe a couple more siege tank splash hits, but we'll have to wait and see. Lau, in fact, pulling back here. Ooh, out of range of the tanks, he's able to target the Marines alone, but now going into Funkay's siege line. And my goodness, the amount of splash damage being done here is actually disgusting. Lau going to be able to break through with some of the bio and actually taking out all the tanks here, but don't forget how many SCVs he sent with this. He is now down 64 to 119 supply. And as long as Funkay can resupply, he's going to be able to hold off Lau comfortably here. 2 siege tanks going to be moving into the natural, and it looks like Funkay's able to hold Lau at his doorstep.
Yep, Lau now forced to fall back, and as soon as he does, we know that we are going to have a tight series. There's really no way Lau can recover from this. He's down to 26 SCVs right now. He has his 3rd again, but really to no avail.
Yeah, 27 to 75 SCVs is a very difficult economic position to come back from, to say the least. At least the bottom right expansion isn't really mining for Funkay yet. He hasn't had a good opportunity to transfer some SCVs down there. And in fact, Lau, not quite able to take... He's trying to take control of that bottom watchtower there as well, which is just giving Funkay a little bit of a headache. But now Funkay has a little bit of a tank lead as well. He is at 5 tanks to 0, Martin. And I think as soon as he gets a foothold anywhere close to Lau's territory, it's going to be curtains for our blue turret in this particular game.
Yeah, Funky, you know, the only thing you can do to lose in this position is blow up your own command center, then your opponent still might GG out.
But only if they're Zerg.
Yeah, only if they're Zerg.
Doesn't work against Terrans, man. They got mules.
Hint, hint, hint.
Oh no, Lau going to be losing his 3rd base once again in this game. All the SCVs getting pulled. He knows that if he lifts that, he's just going to be losing in the long run. Nice distraction on the siege tanks, able to get the tanks killed off here, but Lau now down to 49 supply to 151. The worker count is now 75 to 16.
The next wave already coming in here for Funky, being aggressive towards the natural, cutting off the units at the 3rd, and making sure that he's going to be able to capitalize and do a lot of damage here. Good game gets called, and that's going to mean we have a 1-1 series here.
Oh my goodness, we're going to be going into an ace match, guys. Lau is going to be playing against Funkay in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. JoRoSaR and Martin here bringing you these games, and we'll be right back after these quick commercial breaks.